guys, welcome back to my channel. So my name is Sharah and I want to welcome you guys again to my video. So I'm trying to rearrange myself here. Hold on. Hi guys, good evening. My name is Sharah and welcome back to my channel. So how are you guys today? It's a Friday evening already, almost 9 o'clock in my time here in California. So as I go back to my welcome video when I introduce myself, you can watch it back as well if you have time. I am a nurse. I'm a Filipino nurse. I migrated here in 2014. So I want to share on the process on how I came here to the United States. So kwento time lang, story time. So I know there's a lot of nurses who are still in the Philippines or maybe in other parts of the world, like in the Middle East or Europe, that if they want to try and move here in America. So with the process that I did, oh my goodness, it's gonna take a long time. It's been like more than 15 years, I think. So I'll just share the process with you as I remember. So I graduated 2004. So by that time I took my board exam in June, got my result a week before my birthday in July. So I passed my nursing board exam in the Philippines, and then after that, immediately after passing the board exam, we did, all my classmates and I, my friends, we did the CGFNS exam. So CGFNS, what is CGFNS? Is the exam before, I'm not sure if, do they still even use it today? I think they do in the East Coast. Usually it's based in Pennsylvania. So you do CGFNS is for international nurses wanting to come here in the United States. So besides the NCLEX, we took that exam. So it's like a precursor of the NCLEX because we are international students. So we did that in November of 2004. So we did that and I passed it, barely I think, but I did pass it. I don't remember my score, but yeah, I did pass it at that time because at that time I know even though I don't have an employer yet, I was already thinking the steps I need to take to come here to America, because my goal at that time is to go to the United States, but God has other plans for me and actually put me to another country, which is the UK, after that in 2009. So anyway, 2004 I finished my CGFNS, and then at that time as well I was trying to look for work in the Philippines. It was hard. There were a lot of nursing graduates at that time, so it was hard finding work. A lot of my classmates and friends applied more up north part of Metro Manila, like in St. Luke's, in Quezon City, in Philippine Heart Center, what else? St. Luke's, Philippine Heart, and more of the hospital up there, and also in UST. So since we are a graduate of UST, I thought it's gonna be easier to apply. No, you still go to the rigorous process of applying in UST. So I was thinking if I should apply in UST since I was a graduate from UST, but I chose not to. It's because I live in the south, more of the southern part of Metro Manila. So I live in Parañaque. Our house is there. So going to UST is quite a challenge already. I did that for 4 years. I commute a lot at that time. That's why I said, oh, should I really look for work in USD area as well, or more to the north, it's gonna be at least 2.5 hours of commute time. So of course I didn't want to do that anymore. I did all my commute in 4 years of in university. So what I did, I tried looking for hospitals, tertiary hospitals near my area. So I think I applied in Asian Hospital first, and then Hospital ng Muntinlupa, and then also at the time Paranaque Doctors wasn't even built yet. So yeah, I did apply for 2 hospital there, and oh my gosh, Asian Hospital hasn't called me for a long time. I think I waited like 6 months, and at the time they don't have like online application. You have to go there, give your documents to apply, and that's it. And then while I was waiting, I already took my IELTS exam, because coming to America you need English exam so that they know that you actually speak and you know, fluent in English. So I chose IELTS because at that time there's only 2 English exam that is available. It's either the TOEFL, I'm not even sure if it's still ongoing, TOEFL or TOEIC, or the IELTS. IELTS, but at the time it was quite new in the Philippines, so I chose that. I did that, and I passed because at the time America only required at least 6.5 in general, but my score was 7, so I did that. And then my one of my mom's best friends, she's a doctor in Asian. Parang nepotism lang. So she actually helped me apply. She actually asked if you know, this and this, did you get her application? And as soon as they saw us together, nakakatawa, I think they got my application, and then by 2 weeks they're calling me already. You know, I did the process of, you know, the interview, the panel interview and things like that, and then yeah, so I got in. So thank you. I don't, you know, I'm not ashamed to say that you know, it happened to me, but it was really hard finding work. Even though you're already qualified, your grades was very good in college, and even your board exam test, your grades are quite high. In fairness naman, mataas naman yung grade ko nung board exam. So even with all your qualification, it's just hard getting work. It's either, you know, you need to know somebody who's inside already to help you, or yeah, you go to that rigorous process of all the panel interviews. But I still did that. It doesn't mean that, you know, my aunt actually recommended me. I still did all the hard work. So I did the interview, I did all the training first. So with the process with Philippine hospital at that time, I think I did like 2 or 3 interviews. Here in America, I only did, like, if you're for interview already, you only did 1. At the time, I did like 2 interviews. One for the panel interview. There's also the HR interview, and yeah, and then you go for training. So yeah, so I did that 2005 to 2006. So while I was working there in Asian Hospital, I was assigned in Hungary. So I work in Hungary. It's like not the NICU. It's the, what do you call it in? It's more of taking care of babies after after the mother gave birth. But after I left there, I think they don't have the Hungary anymore, because they opted have the moms have the babies beside them now. Before it wasn't like that. You know, you have that room full of babies, the nursery room. All the babies are there lined up. You have that glass panel so the relatives and the parents can see their babies. So I did that for a year. So I learned a lot from there, good and bad memories, because it's my first job. I didn't really work while I was in the university. I know some people, especially here in America, people work, actually kids work at as early as 16, in McDonald's and things like that. I never did that. It wasn't the norm. Am I saying it right? It wasn't the norm in my time in the Philippines. My parents just wanted me to focus on studies, teenage life. So my first job is, my nursing job. So yeah, and can you believe it? I only, anyway, I'll give you more background with that. So yeah, so while I was working in Asian, I was trying to juggle studying with NCLEX. So I was trying to look for an employer because in 2004, after I graduated, I actually applied online. I think it's a company in New York. It's not the hospital, it's actually more like a staffing agency in New York. And they called me back. At that time, of course, there wasn't any Skype, no Zoom meeting. So when I received a call from them, they interviewed me by phone in 2004. And my mom was there and we were discussing it. But I didn't pursue it because we thought it's quite fast. Parang they wanted me to leave within that year. And I haven't even had my NCLEX yet. They planned for me to take the NCLEX in New York because I was already a CGFNS passer. So, parang nabibilisan ako. Sabi ko, is this real? Because we're not sure if that company was reputable, if they're actually, they do what they say, and all the promises that they're telling me. So me and my mom was kind of hesitant, and we're kind of scared on what their offer at that time. So we didn't pursue that company. So parang sanabi namin, oh, thank you very much for your interest. We're gonna think about it. You know what? I wish I did that. I wish I just pursued that one in New York. But one decision changed your life. So I lose that opportunity. So by 2006, one of my doctors in Asian told me, we got close with the doctors there. So one of the doctors told me, oh, one of my nurses in the different hospital, because doctors has their own, they go from one hospital to another. Oh, one of my nurses actually leaving. If you want to talk to her, she has this agency that actually sponsored her to go to Texas. I said, oh, okay. So I called up that other nurse, introduced myself, have some rapport with her. It's Ate Jenny. I'm not sure her last name. I actually didn't really met her face to face, only via phone. So at that time, she was already leaving for Texas. So she said, oh, go to this company, this agency in Makati. So I went there. There's another set of interviews as usual. Even though you have all your documents, you pass your exam, things like that, you're working. So I have another set of interview there. 2 interviews again. One for the nursing manager of that agency and one from the HR. And also I had an exam in that agency. Another exam. This exam doesn't really finish in my life. But anyway, at that time, so I did the exam of that company. They actually put a portfolio for me, and she told me, oh, 1 month from now, there is an employer from the United States who will be coming here to actually hire nurses. I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. And it was so fast. So parang do you want to go? She gave me a choice. It's actually California employer. I said, oh my goodness, that's my goal to go to California, because most of my family is here. So sabi ko, yes, I prefer California. And she said, oh, there's also Texas and Arizona employers. I said, no, I'll choose California. So yeah, so they prepared my portfolio already. They set it up with the employer. So I did the interview in the Oakwood Hotel in Makati, the one in front of Hotel Intercontinental. I know Hotel Intercontinental is sold off already from that area, right? It's not there anymore. So the Oakwood Hotel. So oh my god, my parents didn't even know I was on I was having that interview. As in talagang I was trying to prepare myself. It is a major interview that I've never done before, because it is actually, you know, face-to-face US employer. I didn't even know the company, so I couldn't even research that. There was a lot of us. I think it was, for that batch, it was at least 100 to 150 nurses in one hiring date. It was, I think, 2-day hiring process. I was on one of the first day, but I was actually the last person they interviewed that day. I was waiting there the whole day. I didn't even know that I will be the last one. I think I got interviewed by around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon already. So they didn't, the company, the agency didn't really specify na, oh, you are gonna be the morning batch, you guys are in the afternoon batch. No, it wasn't like that. You came there on time by 7 a.m. You were there already. You're all nervous. I didn't even know if I ate that day. I just told my mom, oh, I'm gonna meet somebody, but I'm not really. I was actually walking into an interview. My mom didn't even know that I actually applied to an agency at that time, because at the time I was, you know, I said to myself, I'm gonna do this on my own, trying to be independent. I'm gonna find my way. So yeah, my parents didn't know that I had an interview with an US employer. So after the interview, so I was the last one. Oh my goodness. So I finished the interview. At least we talked, at least, because I think maybe because I'm the last one, it was a longer interview because we were just chatting afterwards. So I think it took me at least 30 to 40 minutes of that interview. So there was a panel interview, the actual nurse manager and also the actual employer. So we were, of course, they asked my background, you know, my what my work is. The nurse manager actually discussed, you know, nursing process with me, interview me regarding that. I, you know, gave my answers, and then the next one was the actual employer, you know, more of psychological interview, things like that. And after that, we were just talking, we were just chatting. And then after the interview, I came out. So it was in a room, in a suite, and then all the nurses are on the other suite. So there is you know, people from the agency, the staffing agency there. So yeah, so after my interview, the staffing agency said, oh, how's the interview? So yeah, I think it went well. And she asked me, do you think you're gonna be one of the nurses they're gonna hire? I said, I think so. I was confident. I was confident that I'm gonna be one of those nurses. So at the time, they hired us, I think, out of 150. I'm not sure if it's the right number. I think it was at least half of it was hired from that batch alone. So yeah, so we the next day we came back. They told us congratulations. They gave us this document to sign that, you know, is agreement form that, you know, they're gonna be your employer, their job offer, things like that. So I signed it, took it home, showed it to my mom, and she was so surprised because I did it on my own, you know. She didn't know that I was being interviewed by a US employer. So I did that, and what was expected at the time, 2006, almost 2007, the process of the paper at first it was so fast because you got interviewed, they pay for my pay bill already. The process is your US employer will apply for you and petition you as an immigrant. It was immigrant visa, it's not a work visa, so it immigrant visa. So they apply for you here in the United States. They applied in USCIS. And then the National Visa Center, they receive all the documents from the employer. That, you know, they also check that your employer is actually has the capacity to hire somebody abroad for it. So they check all the documents. And then at that time, I really thought I was gonna leave soon. I did my NCLEX exam 2007. That was February in Guam. I went to Guam. It was just me going to Guam because at the time I already have my US tourist visa. So the agency didn't really apply for me for it because some of my co-nurses, I think they applied for their tourist visa from the US Embassy, and I think most of them went to Saipan to have the test done. But since I have my own US tourist visa because we went to the United States several times, so I have my US tourist visa, so I went to Guam by my own. So the agency actually paid for that. The next year, so 2007, I thought I'm gonna leave that year, but suddenly 2008 happened. So the market crashed, things like that. And they told us that it's retrogression of visa, so they're not processing any visas for immigrants. So 2008, suddenly the person, the one who actually arranged for the NCLEX exam, now already has an office to Manila. And now, like my husband, he took his NCLEX exam in Manila. He doesn't even need to go outside of the country to take his exam. So he took his exam 2008. So yon, ang daming changes sa NCLEX exam. In my time, 2007, I have to take it abroad, like in Guam or Hong Kong or Saipan. By 2008, NCLEX was offered already in Manila. You can take it in Manila at that time. So my husband took his NCLEX exam in 2008 in Manila. So he doesn't even have to fly out. So the process was, because the US visa retrogression in 2008 has stopped. That's why I decided to go to the United Kingdom. So I went to the UK. But anyway, that's a different story. The one for US. So while I was working already, because all my purpose already is in the USCIS, the National Visa Center as well. My documents is already there. The employer's documents is already there. It was just sitting there. It wasn't going forward. So, and the company, the agency in the Philippines already paid the bill. By the time I was already in the United Kingdom, in 2010, they told me, my employer told me that there's a new agency, not the previous agency that I applied to. I said, what happened? I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like that company closed. Actually, there's a lot of news about that, but anyway, so the new agency, Philippine agency, who handled all their nurses to this particular employer, was already transferred there. All the documents is under their care already. So that agency, I never even met them. I only met them once by the time I have to leave the US, for the US anyway. So since I'm in the UK already, all the process, all my documents, I know from the United States in California, they sent all the documents that was already finished, processing here in California. They send it back to Manila in Philippine Embassy, United States Philippine Embassy there. So I'm sorry, what am I talking about? U.S. Embassy in Manila. So they transferred the documents there. Before they transferred it there, I told my agency in the Philippines, I wrote them a letter because they know I'm already in the UK. I said, I'm already in the UK. Can we just process the papers instead going to Manila to actually transfer it to London? Because I'm already there, so I don't have to go back to Manila to actually process these papers. Because I know that once I'm in Manila, it's gonna be taking a long time, and also you have to do all the process like the physical exam, all the immunizations you have to do, the interview as well. It's gonna take a long time. I know it's not just one go, like in 1 and 2 weeks. So I did that, and they actually requested. They actually requested to the National Visa Center, the USCIS here, and from what I know, it was supposed to be transferred to London. Even London Embassy already knows about my documents. And then I thought I was gonna leave in 2012 from the UK, but I received a letter from the U.S. Embassy in London, in United Kingdom, that they still haven't received my documents. I said, oh my goodness, where is my documents? So it's only because and then they keep asking it from Manila and also from the California visa center there. It's like on and on, back and forth, and all the while, you know where my document was? It's in Manila. Of course, it's in Manila. And Manila was like, oh, they couldn't find it. I said, oh my God. So anyway, it was in Manila, U.S. Embassy in Manila, my documents. So it took another 6 months to actually transfer my documents to London. So once it was in London, it was fast already. By 2013, it was in London already. They told me, oh, go to this physical assessment to the doctor there in London. So I did that, do all the physical exam, did the immunizations. Then after a month, I was scheduled already for the interview with my husband, because good thing already me and my husband got married before all those process. We got married in 2011. So yeah, I was saying that good thing me and my husband already got married in 2011, civil, and then church wedding in 2012. Anyway, by the time my papers was being processed already in the UK, my documents, the DSC 202, I think, my husband is already my dependent. So me and my husband is already applying at the same time, and he's also an immigrant. So we paid for his. My employer didn't really pay for anything for him. He's also a nurse. So at the time, so after both of us got the physical appointment, did all the physical exam, all the immunization, things like that. We got our interview at least a month after. Tama ba? Oh, no. We got a month after we received a letter to actually tell us our interview dates. And our interview date was January 2014. So we were all getting ready December, and then suddenly we need to go back to the Philippines. We didn't plan to go to the Philippines at the time, because our plan was from the UK. We'll be flying out from the UK to the US. In December, we need to go back to Manila for an urgent family situation. We only stayed there for 2 weeks, so actually we spent there for Christmas, and then we flew again back to the UK. So once we were back, we just came back in time 1 week before our interview. So we were already getting ready. We knew that once we had that interview, we need to resign from our job. And at that time, March 2014 is the last month that my working visa from the UK is up until then only. After that, it's either I have to apply for a new working visa, working permit, and then or migrate out, because I stayed in the UK for 5 years, 1 year for student visa, 4 years of working visa, and then if I stayed until 2015, I'll be resident. So yeah, where was I? So yeah, so after that US interview in the embassy in the UK, immediately we know that we already passed, that we're gonna get our visa. So we had 2 months to actually, get over all our stuff and things like that, and send into the Philippines, anything that we can send. And I actually resigned, I think, in February from my work. We managed to actually still travel before we leave the UK. We went back to Scotland before we left. We were supposed to go to Iceland, but we didn't have time. We canceled that, so we just went to Scotland. So we left the UK March 18. Oh no, 16. Yes, I think March 16. We arrived here in the US in America in March 17, 2014. So yeah, so that was the process. So there are different ways to actually apply for America if you are a nurse, medical professional, a doctor. So you have to find out which state that you want to go to. So if you prefer New York, there are different rules, for your license to get there, and they have their own requirements. So usually East Coast requires CGFNS. I think until this day they still require CGFNS, and of course, your license from there, you have to get it. So the process is, once you come here to America, it would take some time before you can actually work. I can do another video for that, because there's a lot of information once you get here anyway. So yeah, so I only discuss it's a story time of what happened to me, from the time in 2004 until now. So the process is, it could be 3 ways of actually coming here in America. If you actually study in the Philippines and you're already American citizen, so you come back and just have work. I have classmates who are American citizens who just came to the Philippines to study and then went back here in America. The other one is if you actually have a petition, a family petition, either your parents or relative petition. With myself and my mom, we were waiting for my mom's petition. She has a sister-to-sister petition. It's more than 20 years in mating. Actually, when I arrived here already in 2014, by the end of 2014, almost 2015 already, by January, my aunt received a letter that our petition for immigrant, I think, has been granted or something like that. But of course, we're already here, so we don't need it anyway. So yeah, one of the process is if you actually have a petition already from your relative, or sometimes you have a parent. Usually if it's a parent to child petition, the child needs to go to the US before they reach 21 years old. I have a friend who did that. My cousin did that as well. Her dad is American citizen, so she left the Philippines before she went 21. Anyway, and another one is when way back in 2005, 2006, I have at least 2 to 3, is it just 3 classmates that actually came here to the United States having a working visa. They were currently have a petition for immigrant visa from the employer. But since the process for immigrant visa had stopped at that time, their employers, I think, already applied for them for a work permit first, work visa, so that they can come in here early and then just wait for their immigrant visa to be processed. So they came here already with work visa. I didn't do that because my employer didn't do a working visa anyway. They only petitioned for immigrant visa here in California. So that's why I went to UK. That's a separate video. Anyway, so petition from your employer, they can either be working visa or immigrant visa. Right now, I'm not sure if they still do apply for work visa. Everything changes every 5 years or so. So anyway, most of nurses who come here are already immigrant visa that they offered. I do have a friend who also came from the UK. While we were there already, we know that we already have our immigrant petition already from the employer. So we were just basically waiting. So yeah, so if your employer applied for you for the immigrant petition, the employer usually does all the work. They have their immigration lawyers to process everything for you. All you really have to give them is all your documents, you know, a copy of your diploma, nursing diploma from the university, and then your English exam, your board exam certificate that you actually passed the nursing board exam in the Philippines, and then sorry, usually with the NCLEX exam, it's either you take it while the papers are already being processed in here in America, or you can actually take it once you're here. But now, before it happened that time that you can just take your NCLEX exam once you come here. But that stopped, I think, in 2009, 2010. They preferred that you're already an NCLEX passer. But nowadays with NCLEX, especially in California, they require a social security number. So at the time when I had my test in 2007, it wasn't required yet to have the social security number. So I can still take the NCLEX California board exam. But while in 2010, it changed that California Board of Nursing required the social security number. Since you don't have social security number, what I did is transfer my NCLEX to another state that doesn't require social security number at that time. But now it changed again. So a lot of states now require a social security number before they can actually give you your certificate that you passed the NCLEX exam, or you cannot even take an NCLEX exam if you don't have a social security number. So that's the thing. It's just you have to weigh in. It's just harder, I think, to come here to America compared to the UK or other part of the world, because it's just hard for the process, because you can't really take the exam if you don't have social security number, things like that. So you have to weigh in where you want to go. So once you have that, you have an NCLEX exam. At my time, it wasn't even required for having a social security number. So I did that, and then my employer was still on process. They have their immigration lawyers to actually process their side of the paperwork that the National Visa Center needed, the USCIS. And then yeah, after that, when everything is settled, all your documents is there already in the embassy. Good thing Manila finally transferred it to London. So once it was in London, it was an easy process, just one after another, it's done. So I did, after all the documents was processed, it took so many years. I was already petitioned by 2006 and only got the visa in 2014. A long time. If 2008 economic market crash didn't happen, I could have been here in 2008. So it didn't happen anyway. That's life. So yeah, so by the time in 2012, I should have left already for the US in 2012. It didn't happen because my papers was still in Manila. If it wasn't in Manila, if it was sent over immediately, I could have left the UK in 2012, but that's fine. I stayed in the UK. I love UK, so I stayed there for another 1.5 years. So I finished my, my stay there up until the last moment that, my visa is expiring for the work permit in the UK. So yeah, after the interview, they sent our passport with our visa on it, and then once you arrive here, the immigration officer, home border control, in the airport, they will take all your documents, because you will receive a pack from the embassy, and this pack, you don't open it. You don't open it at all. Please, wag pong matigas ang ulo na titingnan, sisilipin. No, you cannot open it. It's sealed. You protect it with your life. You don't put it in your check-in luggage. You put it in your carry-on or your bag. You have it with you, because all that document will be open by the immigration officer. So please don't open it. Bawal din malukot yung paperwork na yun, so please protect it. It's a big envelope. Actually, I put it in a plastic bag as well, just to protect it. All your documents are inside, on who you are, your credentials, things like that. So once you enter here in the airport, in whichever airport you're entering, either from New York or in California. So when I entered LAX in Los Angeles, California, I have that document. Me and my husband have that document. It was sealed, opened by the immigration officer. They checked it to see that you are the person that carrying that document. Check it, and they gave us a paper that we actually signed and put our address, our US address there, so that they will be sending it to us, to that address, our actual immigration card, the green card as we call it, and also your social security ID, your number, and things like that. It would take a while before you actually receive it. But yeah, you will be receiving it. You have to put your correct address. So because my mom is already in LA, we stayed with her, and we put her address there. Our employers was in Northern California, so we didn't go to the staffing house. We actually, sorry, kakakain lang. I just finished eating dinner. So yeah, we went to my mom's place. Anyway, that's a separate video on what to expect, difference. I'll discuss that more and give you more information regarding that for nurses. But yeah, so one of the tips I think is, I know it's harder to come here. It's ironic, isn't it, that America is much harder to transfer or migrate into. To think that 2 centuries ago, America was the new world, and a lot of Europeans and a lot of from Caribbean was coming here as to make their own, new life, new world. But yeah, now it's actually a harder process to come here. So for me, it took years and years, because a lot of situation happened. Technically, it would have been 1.5 to 2 years of process for immigrant petition. But for myself, it took a long time because of the 2008 market crash. But yeah, so that was my story on how I came here to America as a immigrant petition by employer. Yeah, so I'm thankful that, you know, at the time our employer was still high, you know, still didn't drop us, because I heard from a lot of from some friends that acquaintances at that time, that from the same agency that I applied from the Philippines, when 2008 happened, a lot of the US employers that, you know, hired them from Arizona and Texas dropped them. So it was completely dropped, you know, they don't have employers anymore. It was paid already. So some of them found another employers to actually catch their immigrant petition. Thankfully, with my situation, it was still the same employer. So yeah, I was grateful for that, that it was still the same employer. There's still some, you know, ups and downs with that. But anyway, so yeah, so came here 2014. Actually, we're American citizens now. We applied for citizenship in 2019, and we finally had the oath taking in February of this year, 2020, just before, you know, all the COVID happened. So yeah, I'll do more information videos in the next coming days, or hopefully next week. Just give me some time, guys. I'm trying to juggle everything in my life. So yeah, hopefully I can get another video soon enough, you know, to give you more information on, you know, what to expect here, what's the difference, and, you know, how to come here. But yeah, so just try to, if you still want to come here to America, there are some agencies, like there are some agencies, I think, in the UK that actually sponsored you know, going to America, that, you know, you can be apply for an immigrant petition from an employer. So yeah, that's the best way to go, is an immigrant petition by employer. You can still apply for a work permit, I think, depending on your employer. It's just that it's a working visa. You still have to go back to either from the Philippines, or if you're already in the UK, you still have to go back, unless your employer apply for you the immigrant green card or immigrant petition, or if you actually married somebody who is American citizen. But yeah, that happened. So yeah, so as you know already, a lot of nurses, Filipino nurses, are here in America. You cannot go to another hospital without a Filipino there. So I don't know why in all the medical dramas there isn't any Filipino nurses there. I hope we get more represented there, because we rock it. So yeah, that's my story, and that's how I went here to America. I'll give you more information in next coming videos. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment. You can also check my website. It's www.sharahhannah.com. We'll put a link here, and also please visit me in all my social handles in Instagram, .com/SharahHannah. Please visit me there, and also actually go to my website. You can see it's more a concise content. You know, I post blog posts there, and I also have my Instagram there, and also my YouTube videos. So please check out my website, check my Instagram. You can also find me in Twitter, so you can see me there. Mostly I talk BTS stuff there in Twitter. I get all my information about BTS there in Twitter, and because I'm ARMY, BTS ARMY. And yeah, so please support me here in YouTube. I would really love it if you can please subscribe to my channel. I hope you do, and I hope you enjoy these videos that I'm posting. I know it's the same outfit because I just did Patrick Starr's makeup. Still good with my eyeshadow. And we just ate anyway. So I did that, and I did the launches unboxing. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next few days. And yeah, and you can message me as well in my website. And yeah, hope to see you guys. Bye. Vogue. Ay, mag-film ba kaya ako? Oh, somebody asked me pala. Bloopers. Ano daw to? It's heart! To my American friends, this is heart. Korean heart. See, heart too. Heart too. Bye, guys. I said goodbye to the ducks. Baby, yung para sa inyo. Please like and subscribe and push the notification bell.